Hey, you guys. I am waiting for Ty and our darling Betty today. So I'm going to give it a second for them to join me, and then we will get started talking about one of my favorite topics about fitness. So once I see Ty and Betty come on, and I'm going to tell y'all before she gets on, I invited Betty on because she is really stepping into this new journey of fitness, and I am so doggone proud of her. So I cannot wait for her to get in here to tell us about this whole process of how she's been enjoying this lifestyle of fitness. There she goes, Betty. I'm talking about you already. I'm so excited for you to get on here to tell us about this fitness journey that you are jumping in. Let me see. She's asking to come in. Betty, did
Yeah,
it work?
good.
Hey,
Good. How are
girlfriend.
you?
How are you? I'm
Hey,
great. I'm great. I'm great. I can't, so I'm gonna wait to Ty because I get really excited. But I'm gonna wait to Ty come in. But I had already started telling everybody how excited I am
I
about your fitness journey that you've been on, honey. Been
thank
in
you.
the
I've been
gym,
loving
getting it
it.
in. You
This
know
is
that's my
something
favorite
I've
thing anyway.
really wanted to do, and it just was time, and things are like finally lining up for me with more energy and just starting to feel better, and I just want to feel stronger. So I was like, all right, it's time to invest in myself, and yeah, started.
Ty request us. Request us, Ty. Let's see. Did he do it? Oh, there we go.
Hi, my
Let's
people.
see. Hey,
Hey, how
hey,
are
Toy.
you?
What's
I'm
up, bro?
good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Finally, nice to like actually meet you. I admire you so much, and
Oh,
I
thank you.
watch your Instagram, but to actually get to connect, I'm really excited about that.
That means a lot. I'm in tune with your recovery too, so I'm always sending support when I see you doing great things, which is
Thank you.
daily.
Thank you.
So, Ty, before you jumped on, because you know I get excited, I was telling her how excited I am about this new fitness journey that you see she jumped into. She's been wanting to get into it for a minute,
Yeah.
but she finally stepped out of her comfort zone and went into the gym.
No,
And you
this
look
is starting
amazing. You
my
are only
fourth
on like
month.
week
I
two or
started
three.
in November. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well,
Yes.
you've been sharing with us only. You've been sharing with us just shortly. So it's a wonderful thing. So I'm gonna quit talking and I want you to tell us about this whole journey because again, our series we've
Right.
been talking about is redefining the love of fitness post stroke, and Betty's stepping into this whole new series of
Yeah.
loving going into the
So
gym and
for
getting into
me,
strength
I
training. It's
wanted to
wonderful.
do
So tell us
more
about that.
than, what basic physical therapy, occupational therapy offers you, which is basically just get well enough to take care of yourself every day. And I knew I wanted more. For me, like I want to go hiking. I want to get out in the world more. I don't want to feel so uncomfortable going into uncomfortable situations. So, like for me, I was like, okay, find somebody to support you because I'm not I'm from a dance background. I did ballet, tap, jazz, all that stuff growing up. I ran track, but I've never lifted weights. I've never done the fitness journey this way. So I went into it's called Premier Nutrition in California, and they have what's called an in-body scan, so I could find out exactly where I was at. And that guy was so nice. He listened to my story, and he was like, I have a trainer for you. And I was like, okay. And I called this trainer up, and him and I have just been a really great match. And he pushes me, and I give them a hard time, and it's working. So yeah, it's been good.
But I like how somebody was able to find somebody that they thought matched with you. Like even, I'm not sure if you've seen the last series or one of the series before, how Ty was saying he was going through this journey of trying to
Yes.
find the perfect match for him. So that's very important. Finding somebody that really is in tune with where you want to take yourself to the next level, and then taking it from there and just thriving with it. It's just a wonderful thing. So Ty, I'm gonna throw you in there because you're quiet right now to talk about that, especially because we really got to push to make sure we keep encouraging Betty to do her thing. With us being in the fitness game for a little longer, like she said, she's dance background, Ty, basketball player /
Right.
fitness. His wife is a pro, but all the good things that we've been in it for a while. So we're trying to give you
Thank you.
all the love to keep pushing
I would
yourself to
say,
take it to the next level because
I
we've been doing it
mean,
for a little while.
for
So
me,
go
like
ahead,
I know
Ty.
with getting back, it was just the consistency. So just showing up, whether it's I wouldn't say you got to go 5 days a week. I don't even think I go 5 days a week yet. I think I just ramped it up to 3 or 4 just now, and I'm 3 years out. But for me, when I first got back into the gym, because it was intimidating, like the people and not being able to move the way that I wanted to, it was a little intimidating. So I started out with just personal sessions, and then ease my way back into like the group environment.
Yeah.
And then it was just the consistency of just showing up for myself that makes it like clockwork to like, hey, um, I actually have to go to the gym tonight at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So for me, I'm always like, now it's to the point where my day doesn't feel right if I don't work out. So, but I had to build it back up to be like that. So, just what I always say, or what I always told myself, is it might not be pretty in the beginning, but what really matters is just showing up and putting in the work. And then you'll enjoy the process and looking at the growth through as you detail it like you are. So you'll see yourself. You might do what I see you doing the other day, deadlifts or
Mhm.
RDLs or something, and you might look at it and right now you might be like, that was a little tough. In a couple months you'll be like, oh, let's slap some more weight on there. Um,
Yes.
so it gets better with time.
That's awesome. And that's what I'm already seeing. Like 3 months in, I'm seeing there is progress. We're starting to add more weight. We're starting to add more reps. You know, like I was telling somebody else on Instagram, it's not all about like, I'm left side affected. If this, in my mind, this may never come back perfect, right? But it's about my body being stronger, me being able to like pull the reps at the same time. There's other things that matter to me. And, but I am seeing progress and growth within myself. One thing you were talking about is feeling like overwhelmed with walking into a fitness situation. And there were times, but I was very open and honest with my trainer. Like, I don't want to be here today. Like, everything in my body wants to run out of here, right? Because it's uncomfortable doing something that you haven't done before. But now, like, I'm really looking forward to it. Afterwards, of course, after you're like pumped, you're excited because you've done hard things, that some people said you were never going to be able to do. Like, I had subluxation so bad in my left arm, I couldn't even sleep on this arm for 2 years. And now I'm lifting, I'm pulling, I check it every day. Like, it's staying in the socket, it's staying nice. So yeah, it's exciting.
I would say that the biggest thing, like you said, is just honoring the fact that it's like I don't want to be here. I go through that too. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I went to the gym Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday, my trainer was like, "Yeah, do this," and I'm like, "Why am I here right now?" And
Hmm.
it's like he, and so I go through that too still. And it's hey, I'm up, I'm in the gym, I'm doing the
Yeah.
work. And it's honoring that feeling,
Yeah.
being open to say, hey, I don't want to be here right now. It's intimidating. I don't feel like doing this work. And it helps to shift, like bring you clarity and then shift that confidence. Like, hey, I belong here.
Right.
So now when I'm in the gym, like people are like there's other trainers that are watching what I'm doing and are telling like their clients like, hey, if you know you wouldn't be able to tell anything happened to him, so let's get after it. And I'm like, I just hear it,
Yeah.
and so I just randomly find like a trainer like recording me like doing like jumping or something, and I'm like, I should charge you, but nah, I guess.
Right.
But nah, it's just now it's like I was intimidated by the gym, and I grew a confidence that now when I walk in, it's like I own the place.
Yeah. And like you said, I belong here. I belong here too, right?
Yep.
Because everybody in the gym has a goal in mind. My goal is not less than somebody else's goal, or their goal's better than mine. We're all there for a reason. And I do see there's a lot of support, and there's other people who support me that they have no buy-in to my life, but all of a sudden they're like, you're walking better. That's getting better. Good job. You're showing up. Like, you're just having a support system is so huge.
Yeah, it is. I would say, and that's why I enjoy going to the gym, because of that community that I get. And just at first, like I said, I just wanted to do one-on-one sessions. Now I look forward to going as a group and just being around the different people in the gym, because now I know that I'm inspiring other people, like that didn't have to necessarily go through what we went through, but it's like, hey, I had this injury, and looking at you, I can push through. So that's been another driving factor for me. Just that gets me up and going, and I know you're probably doing well. You both are doing the same thing. And I see here in the comments, people are saying you inspire them too, Betty. So you can see the impact that you have as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for me, I just want to encourage whatever your goal is to go after that. Like, it could just be, I want to go to the park and take a walk, a lap. I want, just to be able to get out and be part of community and feel like your life is still fulfilling, because some of us haven't been able to go back to work. So you're literally recreating a new life, and that life should be purposeful and meaningful, even though it changed.
Yeah, I agree. Just because this event happened and there are changes, your life is still just as meaningful as it was beforehand. So, nobody should discredit themselves. Not that any an event like this happened, but whatever adversity, it doesn't make you any less than or your life any less valuable. So, that's what I try to tell everybody. But and life is supposed to be experienced. We try to understand it and figure it out. And I'm like, it's just supposed to be experienced, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true. We can't always try to understand everything that we're going through, or even at that moment. But it's about enjoying that experience, as Ty was saying, enjoying it. And as I like how you said, Betty, you went into it the days you have that you don't want to be here, but at the end of the day, you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
First of all, you have somebody that understands the fact that you don't want to, and they're still going to push you. And then at the end of the day, you get an enjoyment after the fact of saying, if I would have let my mind take over and not went, it would have been like, oh, shucks, another day that I could have pushed myself a little more. So it's really just a process all the way around. And I'm going to say for myself, and just for you, Betty, for on the days that you feel like, oh my gosh, somebody may be looking at me or something's not working. Guess what? 4 years post, when I say, and y'all know I'm gonna tell you in a minute, my hand ain't working. I don't care. In the beginning, I would say I had a little bit like, should I go to the gym? But now, when I tell you, I tell somebody, yo, if I drop that, or I say, don't stand to my left because I might drop the weight. But I notified them ahead of time. So a lot of times I do that. Somebody may be sitting there like, I got you, pushed you, because I'll go through the fact that, and I'm looking for like thinking about me to challenge me, because I am a trainer. I'm always looking for the next challenge. So I have to incorporate with other trainers, like, yo, beat me up today. Literally, I'll call them like, yo, can you come beat me up today, or can you take me to the next level? And lately, I've been working out with some of my, I would call crazy bodybuilder friends that will take it to extremes. And I'll say, yo, I'm not doing that. That's too much. And they're like, but you said you want to work out with us. You said you want to take us to the next level. So
Yeah.
in order for me to get to the next level, I got to do the
Right.
extreme crazy stuff because my body is so used to the, I would say, quote unquote, normal. So I have to go to the extremes. And my extreme, I would say maybe on the level of you telling your trainer, like, I'm not about to do that deadlift because I can't. But me, mine is, they say, hey, and regardless of what your left side gonna do, I need you to throw these 6 weights on there and drop down. And sometimes in my head, I'm like, bro, are you crazy? But at the same time, that's gonna be my push to take me to the next level. Because prior to that, I'm like, oh, that's easy. But to actually do it and not without telling myself in my head, my left side might not want to push. I got somebody there supporting me. They're like, yo, if it start pushing, I got you on the other side. So things like that I still go through myself, but because I want to push it, I want to continue to progress. I block it out my head. I'll have the second guess for a second, but then I block it out my head like, yo, you said you want to do this. Jump in here and do it. So, I mean, it's a process always with everything. So that was, I just wanted to say that to encourage you, like, because so many people are like, yo, Tracy, this ain't hard for you. You've been doing this.
Wow.
But in order to take me to the next level, I got to go to the extreme to get me myself to take it to the next level.
So even when I feel like I plateau or things get repetitive, then I gotta, my trainer knows, like, okay, I gotta add more into it. And that's how you know you have a good trainer. Like, my trainer will know, like, coming in, okay, I gotta lighten the load today because you're a little tired. Or we're going, he's like, go grab the 100-pound straight bar. And I'll just look at him like, what? And then he's like, yeah, just go get it. And I'm like, all right. So by the time I walk in, go get it and bring it back, I'm like, I know I'm about to do something crazy, but I'm already prepared. Like, it's like, all right, I asked for it. So when I'm there, it's like, once I step foot through the door, it's like, I asked for whatever that workout routine is. So it's like, if I can't do it, I at least have to try to see if I can't. I'm not going to tell myself I can't do it without trying it. Now, if the weight is too heavy, well, just, but I have to try what was originally said, because my trainer is like, okay, I think you can do this. And it's night and day. He's quick to tell me, when I first met you, I want to trust you doing this. But now, look at where you are. So I'll trust you to get this done. And if we're in group sessions, before he used to watch me like all the time. And now it's like, I'll go over here, see what they're doing, check in and see what they're doing. So it's those little things outside of moving the weight that it's like, okay, I'm progressing and doing what I'm supposed to do.
That's awesome.
That's huge. For somebody to be able to walk away and say, yo, you got this. Oh, you know you definitely progressed. Instead of before they had that hawk eye on you, like, let me stand right here in your face and make sure you're doing this correct. So that's huge progression right there.
I tell everybody is first is the mindset. So, I mean, it starts with the mindset and the belief in yourself. So it starts, as long as you believe that you can do it against with whatever they say, it's like, hey, you have that belief in yourself, then you just show up and do the work. And if you have that mindset that you can do it, if it doesn't happen that day, eventually it should happen, but as long as you're consistent with the work, because you're constantly working at it.
So, Ty, what would you say to people that they don't think they can do it? How can they switch their mindset from I don't think I can to maybe proving themselves wrong?
That's a good question. I mean, it starts with you have to be curious enough to try. So I challenge people to be curious enough, because you'll go into it. I did it too. I can't do that. I can't run up and down this court. I can't, and then I had to grow curiosity to say, hey, all right, did I try it, or am I just telling myself that I can't do it? So at least let me see what I can do, and then move from there. So the goal might be too big, and I always tell people start with a small goal. So I see people look at me, hey, I want to run like you. And I had to learn literally how to get up off the floor before I could even go and run.
Right.
So it's like, it was hundreds of reps of me learning to get up off the floor, assisted, unassisted, then walking with a walker, then walking without a walker, then jogging in a controlled environment, to seeing what you see today. So
That's
Try,
beautiful.
trust the process, and set realistic goals, because I think even I did it. I told my mom I was going back to work after like a week,
Yeah.
and yeah, she's like, yeah, right. So it's, I know we all do it, and I don't want to disrespect anybody or have anybody take it the wrong way, but
Sure.
set realistic goals, and that's the way you set yourself up for success, and it's easier to change your mind instead of thinking, I need to lift 30 pounds. Hey, let me lift these 2.5 pound dumbbells and see how many reps I can do. Then next week, let me try 5. Then let me
Right.
try 10. Then 15. So that would be
I
my
love that.
tidbit is to change the
Be
goal.
for the ones that are saying, well, I can't do this. Okay, well, let's be curious to see if that's true. Or maybe you can modify. Maybe you can't run yet, but you can walk, or you can walk quickly.
Hmm.
There are ways to challenge ourselves where we progress over time. And I think that's what's really good about having a trainer or having community that's in the fitness, because they know how to progress you. If you don't come from fitness background, that was one of my biggest questions in physical therapy. How do I progress? Definitely when I get home, how do I progress on my own? And we need to have kind of a roadmap, a building block, like you said. Okay, maybe you can't do 10 pounds, but let's start with the 1 pound, 2 pound weight. Let's start small and then progress, and you'll actually be surprised yourself at what you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the right way to look at it, regardless. Like in fitness, when you want to set yourself up with a solid foundation, it's not always about the most weight and what you see in the aesthetics and on this platform and all over it.
Right.
It's about, for me, it was always setting a solid foundation. So doing them doing the repetitions with the right mechanics. So even if I had to lower the weight, it's like, hey, I'll be stronger in the end because I'm doing it the right way. And
Exactly.
then you'll see the progression. You'll see you won't hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of people, oh, my shoulder hurts. Oh, you probably bench press a little too much. So
Mm-hmm.
let's take it down. I know for me, I'm left side affected too, so it's
Yeah.
within like my shoulder. So I don't lift as much over my head
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes until it stabilizes. So I'll always drop the weight to something I feel comfortable with. Though my right arm, let's say my right arm I can do 50, right?
Right.
I won't do 50. I know I'm not. I won't try it because I
Mm-hmm.
know at some point it's not gonna go where I want it to go,
Yeah.
and until I get to that point of I know I can control it, that's when I'll move to that weight.
That's awesome.
That's that is awesome. And I was gonna say, based off of like how Betty said that and how Ty answered that, my thing I always tell people, everything ain't gonna be pretty. Pretty is not perfect. So yes, going back to the whole mechanics of let's take a little step to
Yeah.
see if we can do a 5, a two, a 5, a 7, and keep progressing from there. Even so, the thing is, we got to get out of that mentality stage to say, hey, I used to do this. I want to jump up there and do that. We can't always do that. So let's step back. And a lot of us say, hey, I want to, I want to, I want to, but I know I'm not ready yet, or I know it's not perfect yet, so we don't. So it's so we got to get out of that frame as I'm not ready yet, because in reality, because we're breathing, we are ready. We may not have that full strength that we had before. We got to take the ability out of our head. We have to actually find the new
Yep.
ability, the old ability of us comparing ourselves to us before. We have to take that out of our head in some point to say, hey, this is where I am now. And again, it may not be pretty, but I can take this small step to make it eventually turn into be a prettier effect as just doing something. Because so many of us, and I did it to myself, we've all done it to ourselves, and there's so many survivors that
Yeah.
contact me like, I want to get to where you are now. I didn't get there overnight, and I'm telling people, I did not get there overnight, and that's why I try to show so much. Even today, still, I'll
Mm-hmm.
tell people, that's why I'm always very adamant to tell people, yo, my hand didn't work today. I'll be someone perfect. I was perfect yesterday, but today it was like, yo, I literally went to the gym today and they was like, yo,
Right.
why you ain't grabbing that? Today then decided not to work. But again, everything is not always going to be pretty. But at the same time, because it decided not to work today, I didn't allow that to say, hey, I can't do it. I can't perform. My performance may not have been perfect, but guess what? I was able to perform a little bit. So things like that we got to look at to step back to say, yeah, it's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be perfect, but I can do this little bit, and
And
then
one thing
eventually
that
it
I
will
wanted
be
to
some
touch
type
on
of
that is
perfection to get us
that
to the next
usually
level.
my first set of something is always rough. Like it takes my brain and my body like to the second set. So my first set is typically always a warm up because my brain is trying to, okay, we got to jump through this and lift this or hold this and lift up this, and it's processing what I have to do. So my trainer knows it's like the first set we know it's you adjusting too, and then the second set is like as long as the second set looks better than the first, it's like okay. But then if it looks the same, it's like okay, we got to adjust the whole workout today because you're a little off. But typically, from what I learned about myself and being in tune with myself, is that my first set, it's okay. It might be good sometimes, but I expect it to be bad because it's like I know the second one. I realize all the mechanics of everything that I have to do, and I'm putting it together in the second set. So that's what I understand, and yeah, it takes time. So
And I don't know
it's
if
not
you guys went through this after your stroke, like when they wanted you to stand up or do something that you did, prior to your stroke, and you're like, but how? I remember they told me to stand, and I literally was like, but how? Like, how do I don't know how to do it, And I noticed that within the gym, if he'll tell me, okay, we're going to do a deadlift, I have to think, okay, use your legs, not your arms. You know what I mean? So it's okay to take it slow, and it's okay if our brain doesn't process everything as fast as we want it to, and it's just about trying and doing it and then seeing your progression because you are consistent.
Yep, that's exactly.
So I'm gonna say something based off of that. So Betty, so I can
Okay.
answer that. So I'm gonna change it a little bit. I can answer that because
Yeah.
fitness was my life. You, on the other hand, is dance. So just to give you an understanding, in the fitness world, you could tell me, okay, figure that out, and I could do it. But if we were in your world, definitely we wouldn't be. I would say for myself, if they think about, so yeah, your initial thing wasn't going to the gym. So to go through the process of a deadlift and all that, your brain is really trying to calculate, hey, I didn't really do that before. So let's think about putting yourself in the whole dance environment to say, Betty, so think about that. Like, what was your dance was your
Super
background.
easy.
So what was
So
your
yeah,
initial
like
thing, something
ballet,
that
you
you could say,
have
what
pas de
be a thought
bourrée
process?
or plies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is. So that's what I'm saying. Like we
Right.
lost. like we're lost. But the reason I said that was because I try to relate to people. So you may not do it on my level, but my level was fitness. So figure out what your life, your whole goal, your whole thing, your love was dance. So you can think about. I'm not even gonna try to say what you just said. Listen. The only one I know on that is plie because guess what? We do plie squat, so I can tell you that. So something like that in your world, your body and your mind will be able to relate to that a little easier. So again, I'm saying that to say for survivors that are on here, we all have different different walks that we came to before then. And even to throw back to myself, I remember when they were first trying to tell me to open, I always said this, so they were telling me to open my hand and grab a towel. Ow! Clean for a living, grab a towel. So my brain was like, grab a towel for what? And I'm gonna say that, and I'm dead serious because for one, I'm allergic to all the cleaning stuff. I'm allergic to everything. So it was like, grab a towel. What is that gonna do? And I kept trying to tell them, even though my talk was off, I kept trying to tell them, take me to the gym, and they kept saying, ma'am, your left side is paralyzed. We can't take you to the gym. I'm like, yes, you can take me to a gym or give me a weight, and it's gonna happen. Hand to the Bible. Finally got a therapist that listened to me. She said everybody said you keep giving them problems. Let's go to the gym. Baby, when I tell you she handed me a 2-pound weight, my hand went from closed fisted and opened up and grabbed the weight. So therefore, I tell people to go into, I think about for hairdressers that I talked to that went through a stroke. They're like, how do you go back to this? You probably can't jump in and go to the gym to have that relate to getting you back on your feet. Let's put you in an environment of being a hairstylist. And I tell this one young lady, I tell her, go buy a wig. I mean, and I had to laugh about, because her daughter, she was like, well, I asked my daughter if I could do it. Her daughter was
Right.
like, no, you're still working on getting your head. You're not about to put some scissors in my head. So that's why I was like,
Right.
okay, buy a wig, buy a mannequin wig. So
Well,
therefore, I'm trying
remember,
to put you into the relation of what you were
Yeah.
before, something that your brain may be able to recognize a little easier. So therefore, so saying that to say, Betty, for you, you can't beat yourself up in an area up when you go into the gym to be like, I don't know how to do that. But guess what?
Yeah.
Me and Ty might go into your arena of ballet
Right.
or whatever and be like,
so
yeah,
for me it
that's
was
that's
I
not gonna
wasn't always
calculate for us
like
at all,
I was
ever.
fitness because of basketball. Well, weightlifting because of basketball. So the first thing that I did when I got home, I'm supposed to have this walker and this wheelchair, walker and a wheelchair, all kinds of stuff. I'm in my backyard walking around like dribbling the basketball. Like we had a little court, I just lower it and I would shoot. So it forced me to move around,
Wow.
chase the ball, and so I was in my natural environment. Even when I was in therapy, they would just always make sure I had a basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So it would just allow me to do. They try to incorporate basketball or basketball activities as much as they could, because that's how your brain kind of makes those connections. So if you kind of think about what you would do in dance, if you can relate it, at least mentally relate it to the exercise, then it may come a little, you might be like, oh, this comes a little bit easier. So it's like, I know if my trainer tells me to do like something above my head, then I'm like, oh, it's like going to grab a rebound, right?
Hip
So
position.
it's, yeah, so, when it's like, I know a little, like, I only see what I see, and you can see the shadow, like,
Yeah.
overhead. When it's like a shoulder press, you might start to think like, okay, I got to get to that position.
Okay.
And then as your brain might start to say, okay, I remember this. And you might start to think your left, as you're doing it with your right, then, you try it with your left. And then you may start to see gradual improvements. And I have to be careful with my words and say may, because I don't want anybody to think that this is medical advice.
Right.
You gotta leave with that disclaimer these days.
Yeah.
That's always, we are not giving y'all any medical advice. We are talking about our stories and giving y'all
That's
encouragement
right.
to help y'all to relate to y'all and y'all progression
But
stages.
everything that I try to do, I try to think basketball, whatever movements, and that's how I was able to play the other weekend, because that's just my brain's natural way. Fitness came hard to me when I couldn't play. I'm like, I gained weight and I couldn't shed the weight, and really until I start putting my mind back into basketball activity, then everything just kind of, my body was like, oh, we know how to do this. So that's what I would say, try to do, or at least try to think and carry that dancer mindset into the gym with you.
That's amazing. I love that. Like, what was your natural environment? How can you incorporate that to bring back mobility back into your body? I love that.
If you hated the gym before,
Right.
you're going to hate the gym. Your brain is still going to hate the gym.
Right.
So it's like, what got me into the gym before? And I'm like, oh, basketball got me into the gym. So it's like, all right, as long as I feel and think like an athlete, then I'm like, I'm putting my best work out there.
Yeah.
The second, the times that I didn't feel like an athlete and I couldn't process things, is like, all right, well, I don't know what good I am right now. But once I clicked on my athletic mind again, then it was like, well, all right, let's pick this up. Let's do this exercise. Let's get this work in. Now my group hates when I come, because they're like, oh, the workouts are harder when you're here. So
Yeah.
stay home.
That's good.
That's fun.
I love that. First of all, I love that part, that when they hate when you come because they're gonna say the workouts are harder. Like I said, I work out with people now to push me to the next level. So now I would say my coach uses me as, yo, Tracy here, and I'll be doggone if she lifts more than y'all, they be like, man, but she's not normal. Like, and I love it, first of all, because it's guys. And I'm gonna throw this out, guys do not like to do legs. So the only time I really mess with them is when it's legs. And their first thing is, I don't give a doggone she had a stroke. Her brain ain't normal. She loves to do this. So I'm smiling when you stack it on the plates. They hate, but the fact is, they say, she here, I want you to work out harder
That's
than her. For
right.
one, she's a
Well,
girl. For two, she had a stroke. So
I
ain't
work
nobody
out
got no
legs.
excuses.
I used to take pride in trying to lift, like trying to squat. So I work out legs. I don't get it. I don't know. I told you what my thought process on it is, that the disproportion. We only want to be big, up top. But I'm like, hey, I embrace muscles. Muscles are muscles. So hey, muscles grow. So
Yep.
gotta be. I'm comfortable with it. So I'm not going to not lift legs and be a upside down pyramid.
But see, so many people. I mean, that's fine. We ain't gonna go into that topic because they hate when I talk about. But so many people think that's okay. But I'm just gonna throw
Yeah.
this out there. Reality is, when you build from the bottom, you get stronger all the way up. So the fact that they build from the top and go down, no, that's so disproportionate. For one, because your legs are the biggest muscle group in your body. So we need to build from
Well,
bottom to strengthen
they can
everything
come
up.
at me.
Hello,
So
guys. So that's all I'm gonna say.
we
So we
can
gonna
talk
change the
about it.
subject.
But it was important for me in basketball to be proportionate, especially being undersized. So but back to the topic, yeah, it's like I said, it's all about mindset and incorporating the things. I think going through adversity, and I was talking about this earlier, we kind of get away from the things that we like to do, that made us us and that we enjoy. So we got to get back by any means necessary, and it changes us a little bit, and we forget what got us to where we were and what got us happy. So for me, it's incorporating those things, not just in fitness, but just in life in general. Me, I was like a bowler. I like video games and stuff, and I didn't do any of that for like the first 2 years, and I just started doing that stuff. Like, if I find myself in a little rut, I'll go to we have Dave and Buster's. I'll go to Dave and Buster's, play the games, and I'm like, okay, that's my reset. So I treat
Nice.
the gym the same way as I treat life, and it's like, find an environment that makes me happy, because it's not just about the gym. It's not just about fitness, because once you turn off that workout is done, then you're like, okay, what's next? Do you would just wait till the next workout? I wouldn't say so. I'd say incorporate things in your daily life that you enjoy doing prior to the adversity that you're currently going through.
Right.
So what you mean, Betty? So now, even when you're not
Even
at the gym, you gonna
even
be
if
at home
it's
walking around doing
That
your
was
plies and so
position.
Yep.
what you so listen.
So there's positions in ballet. You
Yeah,
start, so
what
the
is that? What do
feet
you
do the
call that?
same thing. So first, then second, then third, fourth, fifth, you bring in this arm, and this arm goes up too. So yeah, I can start doing some ballet moves at home. But my mind,
Okay,
it's interesting as you say that, because as I
that's
even
what you
do
should.
the movement, my body remembers it.
And I would say, even if you aren't start out listening to the music, because I know certain music that you would listen to the music, and then start to incorporate. Like me, I'm always moving, or I'm always playing basketball, I'm moving around, and my wife is like,
Right.
"What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm playing a whole game in my head right now, so leave me
Right.
alone. But yeah, as you start doing that, your body will be like, "Oh yeah, I remember this," and you start to naturally build those connections. I feel like a lot of times we try to force, we hear the neuroplasticity, and we're trying to force our brain to do something, and
Sure.
it's like, go back to those where that natural connection is, and then you build from there.
I love that.
Hey,
Oh,
so Betty, I'm
who's
telling somebody they
that?
should jump on the FaceTime with you to do some ballet with you.
Okay.
She said she loves doing ballet, so she and so some
Yeah.
things like that I like to do, because what that does, it challenges you to get out of
Right.
your comfort and uncomfortable zone of, hey, I haven't really danced like that post stroke.
Okay.
So therefore, it's going to take you to say somebody else, and she's a dancer and
Yeah.
she used to dance and things like that. But even though you're not
Yeah.
maybe not doing it fully now, to get on with somebody else, and like I said, virtual, because you're in wherever, so
I'll be right
virtual,
on there
y'all
too. I
can
don't
jump
even
on.
Let's
play.
And
do
I'll be
listen, you
on
think I'm
there.
playing? You know I'm gonna
If
connect.
Betty says she want to connect, let's set up a ballet session. I'll be on
That's
there.
right.
So we gonna
Yeah,
Lord
we
Jesus.
gotta
So we gonna
support
set up
each
a ballet.
other.
Okay,
I
that's what
I'll
it
be
is. So
love
right
we
on
setting up
there.
a
I don't
that.
care
ballet
how
session,
crazy
y'all.
it looks. I think
I
Listen, it's
love
hey, and
it.
we recorded.
I'm
Oh, it's
on there.
definitely gonna look great.
Oh,
Hey,
Now listen, you throw
we
some
can do
reggae in there.
different
I'm with that all
genres.
day.
That would be so
But
fun. That'd
try
be so great. But
yeah,
that's
I
really
know.
what it's
I know you
about.
ain't playing.
y'all think I'm playing? No, we doing it.
Okay.
We doing it. I'm gonna text y'all when we get off this call because we already hit past our time. Y'all know I like to keep it short. So I'm gonna text y'all. Guess what, everybody? And we gonna show y'all the snippet. We are going to get Betty out of her comfort zone, and we're gonna have her teach us some ballet. Which the thing is, I
Yeah.
really want to do it because I already know. So Betty's
Yeah.
still struggling with her arm being stiff. But even when you went
Yeah.
to show us whatever you call that, your arm start moving on its own, doing whatever. So that's how it happens. Like you don't think about it when you get in your zone. She's gonna be up there teaching us, and before she know, her arm
I
gonna be
love
doing all the
that.
plie
I
type of
love
stuff.
it. That's awesome.
All right, so that's the.
Okay.
Oh, she said Jara said she's ready. Okay, so I'm gonna set it up, y'all. I'm gonna set it up.
Okay.
We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen at least by next week. So everybody, we do this. How can we? I'm gonna see if we can do this before next Tuesday because our next call is next Tuesday. We're every Tuesday between 5 and 6. So I'm gonna text
Okay.
y'all and see if we can incorporate this to have this done before next week. All right, so we're gonna have a video to show y'all. Hopefully, we have a video to show y'all before our next Tuesday call.
It's gonna be amazing.
And it's gonna be this is gonna be funny. Listen. Okay, so that's what. All right, so that's the thing. Okay, y'all got any closing remarks for the people before we
when
get
you're
out of here?
talking about
Y'all want to leave them
building
with?
bodies, right? Mind frames, build from the bottom to the top. Everything is a foundation. So we have to, after our stroke, go back to the basics, build your foundation, and then start adding to that foundation, and we'll build you up. So that's all I want to say.
Me, I'm gonna end it with just remember to have fun. So you see how
Yes.
we end this. Remember to have fun. I know we give so much advice, but at the end of the day, make sure you're having fun in life.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank y'all so much. And everybody, we will see y'all next Tuesday. And we're gonna have a video for y'all of this ballet that Betty's gonna teach us some ballet moves. And we're gonna show y'all next Tuesday and we can talk about it. All right, y'all. I'm gonna text y'all.